7 people killed in broad daylight, 40 armed bandits, 1 trading center destroyed, and Kenya police had just returned from fixing Haiti. Homa Bay Senator Moses Kajwang stood up in the Senate and asked the question everyone was thinking about. How do you fix another country's security when people are dying in your own village? On Wednesday, Homa Bay Senator Moses Kajwang took to the floor of the Senate and delivered a statement that cuts straight to the point. The senator acknowledged the return of Kenya police officers from Haiti, calling them the valiant for their work they did over there. But then acknowledgement came with a very sharp question attached to it. Kajwang told the Senate directly, you cannot be fixing other people's country if you cannot fix the problem back at home. As they say, charity must begin at home. Those words landed hard because they came just days after one of the most brutal bandit attack Kenya has seen in recent months. So, on April 25, 2026, about 40 heavily armed bandits stormed Kamari Trading Center in Tseikuru, sub-county Mwingi North. The attackers arrived in 2 unmarked probox vehicles. They were armed with automatic rifle and machete, and within about an hour, 7 people were dead, 6 men and 1 woman. Another man was shot and is currently receiving treatment at Tseikuru Level 4 hospital. The attackers did not stop at killing. 3 shops were tortured, a petrol station was set on fire, a motorcycle was destroyed, residents flee their home in terror, abandoning their farms and shop and hiding in nearby bushland. Tseikuru Deputy County Commissioner Ann Mwingi say the attackers are believed to have crossed into the Mwingi North game reserve to graze camels before launching the attack. Authorities suspect the violence was a retaliatory linked to a killing between a pastoralist group in the volatile border area near the game reserve. A local resident described it simply, these people are ruthless. Within 1 hour, 7 people death. So in the Senate, Kajwang used Tseikuru attack to make a much bigger point. The Homa Bay senator warned against the habit of labeling these killings as tribal warfare or cultural practice. 40 people were killed in Turkana not long ago, 7 more in Mwingi, and every time the narrative shifts from cultural and tradition, as if that explain it away. Kajwang was direct. This is not culture, this is crime. And the state has a constitutional obligation to protect the life to every Kenyan. And every Kenyan has a right to live regardless of where they live or which community they belong to. The senator also raise something that many Kenyans feel but rarely hear said it loud in parliament. There is an unspoken rule in this country. Kajwang argued, if you want the government to act, harm a politician, attack a politician property, kill someone connected to power, that is when response comes. But ordinary Kenyans dying in village, the response is slow, or at times it is even absent. So the timing of Kajwang's remarks was very deliberate. The final batch of 150 Kenyan police officers had returned from Haiti just the day before, on Tuesday, April 28. The mission was celebrated. The officers were received at JKIA by senior government officials. Statements were made about Kenya's contribution to international peace and security. And then the very next day, Senator Kajwang stand up in the Senate and point to Tseikuru. 7 people dead, 40 bandits, 1 hour of terror. The contrast was impossible to ignore. Kenya celebrating sending police to stabilize a foreign country, but back home, somewhere in Mwingi North, residents were fleeing into bushlands to escape armed attackers. According to Kajwang, this puts it plainly. Kenya cannot export security while insecurity reigns in its own villages. Kajwang ended his Senate remarks with a warning that deserves serious attention. The right to live is enshrined in Kenya's constitution. The state is obligated to guarantee that right, and if the state continues to fail in that obligation, Kajwang warned that Kenya will revert into the right to self-defense. That is not a casual statement. When a senator stands in parliament, a person not from even that community, and warn that citizens may be forced to defend themselves because the state they believe is not doing its job, that is a red flag about the level of frustration building in communities that have been left exposed to banditry for years. The question is really asking is simple. Why does it take a foreign mission to mobilize Kenya's security response, but attack on ordinary Kenyans in their own land get managed slowly, labeled as cultural, and quietly forgotten as time goes?